From time to time, something can happen with your WSS6 controller where an error 1 code or a different error code can appear on the screen. Typically, this is caused by a fluctuation in power, where the controller will reset itself several times during a short period of time, and therefore the software kind of says what's going on and it creates an error code on the screen. Okay, there's a couple things that we can do to fix that error code, and we're going to go through these right now. The first thing we have to do is unplug our controller. This little guy here is called an MM4 data plug, and this data plug is presently holding the most recent version of our software. So we just unplugged the controller. We're now going to insert the data plug into the central core processor, and we're going to download the latest software to see if that'll clear the error code on the controller. So right now we have to insert the MM4 data plug. You'll see there's a green tab on the data plug. That's a guide because it can only go in one way. We open up our controller, we see the CPU card is this one that's up here in the top, and the data plug is inserted in the top right corner. There's a little port there, and as I said, there's only one way that it can go in because that little green guide ensures that. Now let's plug back in our controller. It only takes a couple of seconds for the latest version of the software to be downloaded to the controller. So now that the software download is complete, you can see it says that in the screen. It says remove MMX, or the data plug. We now remove that data plug, close our controller, and we're ready to go. The error code has been cleared off the screen. The latest version of the software has been downloaded to the controller, and hopefully this will fix the challenge of having that error 1 code displayed on the screen. So we tried to download the latest version of the software to stop the error code from showing on the screen. We did that, but the error code came back. That tells us that the central processing core unit needs to be replaced. So the first thing that we have to do is unplug our controller. Okay, we've got our controller unplugged. We open up the WSS6, and the CPU card, or the central processing unit, or the core processing unit, I've got several names for it, needs to be replaced. Okay, so it's a process where we need to find a small pair of pliers, and you'll notice that there are two little white tabs here. We need to squeeze those tabs and then gently remove the CPU card. But before we do that, we have to also detach the ribbon that's connecting the front door to the CPU card. So we do that first by squeezing both sides of this ribbon and wiggling it to get it to come off. Okay, we've now released the ribbon, and now we're going to take out the CPU card. Here you can see these two white tabs. Okay, we have to squeeze both of them. There's a small little notch on the top of each one of these little tabs. We squeeze it, we start to pull the card out a little bit. We then squeeze the other one, do the same thing, and remove that side of the card. Now they're loose. We can just pop this card straight out. Now it's a case of simply inserting a new CPU card back into the controller. One quick point on the back of these CPU cards, we have all of these little fingers or prongs. It's very important that we're very careful when we insert this back in that we don't bend any of these. Each one has its own separate hole on the receptacle side, so we've got to make sure that it goes in properly. Okay, so just the same way we took it off, we're now going to go back inside the controller. You see the two white tabs. There's two holes here. They fit right over top of those two tabs like so. We take our thumbs and we just gently push it in until we feel that we have it completely inserted into the controller. There you go. You can feel it. We've gone past the little knobs on the tabs. The CPU card is back in. We then take our ribbon to connect the front door back to the CPU card, and it simply goes in the same way, being very careful with all of these small prongs. There you go. The ribbon is now connected back to the CPU card. We close our controller, and we are ready to go. You probably noticed that there weren't any wires connected to the solenoid valves because this is a demonstration unit in our showroom. But that's all there is to it. And as I said earlier, First thing we do is we try to download the latest software using the data plug. If that doesn't work and it's still showing error, that means that the software has been corrupted. We got to change the CPU card, which we just did. One of those two ways should fix it up and you should be back to normal and running again smoothly.